Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It's May the 13th. It's my grandmother's 99th, I believe, birthday today. She just doesn't stop. The party just keeps on going. just desperately trying to get the webcam to react appropriately to any and all lighting conditions. Bro, you know what you gotta do? Set the lights that you want, and then you have to open up the webcam software, and you have to like uncheck literally. This is Logitech. This is the routine you have to do.
Yeah.
Uncheck everything, and then check auto exposure, and then it will sort of sometimes kind of work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Welcome to Logitech drivers circa always. I mean, hey, look, you're going for that youthful exuberance look. You've got that glow. You look like you're in heaven right now. But there we go.
There.
Perfect.
There. Boom.
Don't change anything.
I'm not touching it. Nothing is being touched.
Everything has to stay the same. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another Technical Alpha podcast. Got another great show for you lined up today, including working webcams. Last week, for whatever reason, mine decided not to work, and so we went full VTuber. But this week, we're back on camera to show our ugly mugs while we talk about video game news, TV, and movie stuff, and then answer questions from you, the fans, as long as you're paying us money, because we're capitalists. How are you doing this week, Jeff? Most important question of the week. How was your week?
It's a week. My lower back is so fucking sore. It's insane. I've been sitting on a pillow for a few days.
Okay, that won't help.
No, I know. Well, it's like my ass is sore because my back is sore. So, I feel your pain right now.
Okay, here, take a pro tip, though. For the love of God, when possible, stand up for a while, because you're literally right on the brink of where I am, where if you keep going, you're gonna fuck your shit up, and then your feet are gonna get fucked, and I still can't. Bro, I've been standing. This is the only, 2 times a week I'm sitting, and this is one of them. Otherwise, my ass is standing or laying down.
So yeah, other than that, it's been another week, dude. It's been another week.
There are pieces been pretty good, though, I've seen. So things have been going well in that regard. You've been cranking out some jams.
Yep.
Pretty consistently. I'm happy to see it looks like you've gotten some sleep, though, because I'm going to be straight up with you. I saw you on Facebook when I randomly opened it for the first time in a while, and you look like hell! Sleep, for God's sake!
I know.
The human body requires it! I was going to say, it was a picture of you and Kai. You were like, I'm going to call it early today. And it was like, because I'm going to do this. And it was like you and Kai on the couch. And I was like, Jesus! What the fuck?
Bro,
you needed some cucumber slices?
I needed everything. Bro. So anyway, I got a little bit of sleep. Last night was actually rough, but the night before was pretty good. So I can't really complain.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had no, I wasn't looking quite that rough, but I had 3 nights where I just could not fucking fall asleep, or not. Well, I shouldn't say that. I fell asleep, but I was waking up really easily. And right now, Nan, again, birthday today, 99 years old. I think it's her 6th year straight of heart failure. I'm not sure what it's going to take, but it isn't heart failure apparently. So she's holding
it down, man. She ain't going anywhere, bro. She's saying, listen. She's getting to 100.
She's
going for the triple digits. That's fucking insane, dude. That's literally insane.
So she's her feet obviously at that age with heart failure, your feet, your circulation doesn't exist at that point, and so she's easy to get gout and stuff like that in her feet that gets bad. And this last round of stuff was really, really terrible. So they had to juice her up on prednisone, which is a really potent steroid, but untold levels of prednisone to get this thing in check. And prednisone makes you a couple things. One, you retain a bunch of fluid, but 2, you cannot stop eating. You are hungry all the fucking time. You need to use the washroom constantly, and you're hungry all the fucking time. And so Mom and dad are up like every 45 minutes to an hour in the night these days, getting her, to be able to, helping her use the washroom. And that's right above our bedroom. And so it's just constant noise all the time. So sleep here is at a premium. So I've been using the couch to nap thoroughly when I can. But otherwise, yeah, my week has been good. I did Resident Evil this week.
I'm gonna start that. I think I'm gonna start that tomorrow.
There you go.
Start tomorrow. I bought it and installed it, so I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
You'll enjoy yourself. I know you liked 7, and this is basically the first person but not VR version of 7, more or less. I got the review up, so for those listening that hasn't already watched it, what the fuck is wrong with you? You want to go over to Critical Hit on YouTube and check out that review. Mark did a banger of a review. Told the story in the beginning of it of how Cam and I played the director's cut in the summer, listening to I'm Blue on repeat. We played it in one sitting. It was like 8-9 hours of listening to Eiffel 65 while playing Resident Evil director's cut, because that's the kind of stupid shit you do when you're a child.
Why not?
Yeah, we got that review cranked out, and then tomorrow is Subnautica Below Zero that I'll be starting. That's my next review after that, and then Biomutant, I think, at the end of the month. But I'll actually have more than a week to beat this upcoming game, which is good because Subnautica is not usually short, so I'm gonna need the extra time. But regardless, that's all I've been doing this week, cranking out review stuff and moving on to the next one. I'm still waiting for my standing desk stuff. Some of it started to show up. We got, the Elgato mounts and stuff started to arrive. I'm hoping, I know my speaker stands aren't going to be here until Monday, but I'm hoping that the desk gets here tomorrow so that I can at least start the process of setting it up over the weekend, because it's going to take some time to tear this fucking room apart and put everything back together. But I'm excited, and now I'm excited to talk about some video games, Mr. Black. Are you ready?
My body is ready.
Well, let's talk about something that's not necessarily the video games right off the rip, but the Olympics, Mr. Black, the Tokyo Olympics.
Okay.
They are hell-bent on keeping that bad boy going, despite the fact that I think Japan currently is at like 2% vaccination rate. They are not moving at speed over there, but I'm sure they'll catch up quick enough, because if there's one thing Japan's good at, it's logistics. They'll figure it out. But they want the Olympics to keep going, so they're continuing to do their partnerships and stuff to get ready in preparation for it. One of those is partnering with Twitch. We're going to get the Olympics on Twitch, Mr. Black. Can you imagine the complete fuckery that is going to be Olympic events with Twitch chat at the same time?
No. I actually can't.
Can you imagine the casual and sometimes not casual racism that is likely to occur watching the 100-meter dash coming up for this?
It'll be interesting.
How many try-hard emotes are going to be used during the Olympics, Jeff?
All of the emotes will be used during the Olympics. It's gonna be a shit show, but it will bring a lot more attention to the Olympics, which is good for the Olympics.
In some stupid way, I feel like I want to watch it with Twitch, because just the chat alone is going to add an enormous amount of Olympic Olympic levels of entertainment value to it, instead of just watching plain shit on TV. So. So there you go. That'll be a thing. That includes like apparently the on-desk content, like not just the events, but like it sounds like damn near the whole friggin' broadcast. The more impressive thing to me, and the thing that only about 4 people on Earth will get to experience, is that the Tokyo Olympic Games are actually going to be broadcast in 8K. 8K! Damn.
It's a lot of Ks.
That's a lot of Ks. Most of our television programming here is still being upscaled from 720p. So for those of you with an 8K television, of which I'm guessing none on the listening list of this podcast, enjoy it. It's going to be pretty dope. I don't even want to know what the broadcasting bitrate of 8K is, but it's probably substantial. Whatever it is. Whatever it is. Next up, actual video game stuff here, Mr. Black. Final Fantasy VII Remake's Intergrade got its final trailer. Now, I posted it here in case you haven't seen it yet. We can watch it if you want. I can also just give you a recap.
Oh yeah,
trailer.
you can give me a recap.
Good. So basically, the first half of the trailer is in fact also a recap.
Oh, okay.
They just show you a bunch of cutscenes from the first fucking game. Is like the first half of that trailer. And then the second half of the trailer is actually for the game that is coming out, that this trailer is supposed to be for. And it's just, you know, there's splashes of gameplay and combat, of course, in there. The usual, like, you know, monologuing bullshit about talking about stuff that doesn't really matter. You know how you said, you know, sometimes there are games that you feel you've just outgrown.
Yep.
After watching this trailer, I think I've officially outgrown Final Fantasy. At least this form of Final Fantasy. I don't know what 16 is going to bring, but this whatever this Final Fantasy is like really shoddily written for children fuckery that's just not interesting to me at all. In the slightest. And it's wild to me because Final Fantasy VII as a game is actually, if you go back and play the original, however you feel about the writing, is that the story itself is actually quite dark and very mature. But they've managed to take all of that and just yeet that shit into the sun and turn this into another kind of like fluffy, just really, I don't even know. But it looks flashy. It's Final Fantasy VII Remake. It looks flashy. The graphics are good. One of my pet peeves in it is that the voiceover work, it doesn't matter where the character is. They could be in a fucking cave. Anywhere, but it sounds just like pristine studio audio with no reverb, no nothing. They could be like, a character could be on the other side of the room. They sound like they're in your fucking ear, like whispering sweet nothings, like zero audio engineering. Like literally nothing. They're spending a fortune on this, but they couldn't pay a fucking audio engineer to like make the shit, which I actually mentioned, and you'll notice in Resident Evil Village, fucking incredible audio engineering in that game. So, night and day. Both Japanese studios, so you're just like, Capcom at least has the fucking wherewithal to hire an audio engineer. Square Enix is like, fuck it, just give me that raw dog studio audio. I don't care what's happening at the time, if there's explosions, or they're in a cave, or they're in a fucking like tile, you know, cathedral, everyone's gonna sound like they're basically just in a studio, dead air, nothing moving. And there you go. So anyway, it's the trailer. You guys can go and watch it if you want, if you're interested in it. I honestly, I have no hopes for this remake going forward. I really don't. There's gonna be lots of people that love it. I'll probably still end up playing it when I have the time to give it, you know, as much of an objective fucking review as I can. But honest to God, man, I mean, this is like some elementary bullshit. So go watch the trailer. Mr. Black, how complicated would you say your passwords are? Have they gotten more complicated over time?
They actually have, like, you know, using all kinds of different fancy squiggles
spicy
and
now,
and all kinds of different. I had to step it up because most password places are asking for like a symbol and a capital letter and a number. And,
they get tired of people's accounts getting hacked and then their customer service having to fucking deal with the fact that somebody's account got hacked.
Pretty much. So,
and I use the word hack lightly. It's more like they just had a really terrible password and somebody gained access to the account. So as it turns out, your, our old passwords that were shit, lots of people still going down that road. You'd think maybe the further we got in and the more savvy the general population got with the internet and all that can happen and go wrong on the internet would maybe get their passwords to go in the right direction. Unfortunately, the most popular password, Mr. Black, of 2021 is 123456.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Owen Wilson, wow.
Wow.
It's fucking embarrassing. Step your password game up. Get a password manager. That's the real trick. That's what I hopped on that train. I ain't getting off of that one. Now I'm on it. I'm never leaving. That's the real fucking hype. Because then you don't even have to really remember your passwords. You know, write it down on paper somewhere and keep it in a safe place in case you lose access to your password manager. That's about it. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Next up, Shirley the Skyrim Grandma. I'm sure you've seen her pop up a couple times before in your timeline, once or twice, I'm sure. Has her own fully voiced mod now, Mr. Black.
Wow.
They made wow. they made Shirley a companion. So in Skyrim, you could have companions that basically, like Lydia, just carry all of your shit and occasionally help you kill the almost impossible to kill bears. Shirley is now a companion and fully voiced by her. And so for those of you still playing Skyrim religiously and you're deep into it and you're looking for that Shirley, the Skyrim grandma fix, great news. Now you can make Shirley the grandma carry all of your shit and help you kill bears. The future is now. The Coalition, which is that fancy pants Xbox studio powered by what I call the Avengers of game developers, because that's kind of what they fucking pegged this thing as, have announced that they are moving to Unreal Engine 5 as their game engine of choice to focus on next-gen development. No announcements about the projects for quite some time, however. These guys are working exclusively on next-gen shit, not last-gen and this gen. It is purely next-gen work, and so probably another year before we're going to hear what they're actually working on and see what they're working on. But that's great news. Unreal Engine 5 produces some fucking incredible imagery and really quite a flexible engine, so that's great to know that they're not trying to use old tech to do their first projects and they're skipping right ahead. Because really, if you're spending all that money to make something like the Coalition, don't make them do fucking cross-gen. Put all of their friggin' resources and all of their effort into next-gen shit, for God's sake. Bank on that shit for the future. Continuing Japan's deep history of crushing my soul, Mr. Black. Fatal Frame, which is one of the greatest horror games of the genre of all time. Fatal Frame is making a comeback as a pachinko machine!
How scary.
Joining Silent Hill as the franchises a lot of people care about that now only get to enjoy them on a pachinko machine. Thank you, Koei Tecmo. Thank you, Konami. Go fuck yourselves with your pachinko machines if possible. I'm just so salty about that shit, bro. I can't fucking take it. The pachinko machines, really? I don't know who I'm supposed to be more upset with. The apparently copious number of Japanese citizens that are so hooked on pachinko that this becomes a more viable option for these guys to make than the actual games themselves. Or just upset that the game developers won't just fucking sell the license to somebody else who's willing to make a game.
Seriously.
Fuck. Have some respect for these franchises, would you? Would you play another Fatal Frame if it came? Did you play the originals? I did.
I did, yeah. Years and years and years ago.
I'd fucks with a new Fatal Frame.
I would play it. I like horror games in general, so yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down. And just like they did with the Wii U or whatever, the Switch would be a great place to do another Fatal Frame with the camera shit. You know, you're in handheld mode. Mm-hmm. Be fire. Just like the Wii U. Oh, I almost skipped over one there. Sega's financial report and strategy for the coming year outlined a new AAA, what they called super game, Jeff. We're not
super game.
Super. Not quadruple A, but super game. Using a current IP or current IPs. Could be some sort of crossover thing or something of that sort, but using what they've currently already got, so it's not going to be a new IP. And also that they're, of course, going to continue to make remasters and remakes, which are driving a lot of revenue for a lot of companies right now. And Sega has a lot, let's be honest, Sega has one of the deepest catalogs of games that people wouldn't mind seeing remakes and remasters of.
Yep.
So my fingers will continue to be crossed for Jet Set Radio Future to be pulled out of the vault and remade and or remastered. That would be incredible. But I mean, man, there's an absolutely shit ton of Sega games that they could pull out and do that stuff. But Sega seems like they're in a bit of a renaissance, Mr. Black. They're doing real well lately. They're doing well enough that they can dump a bunch of resources into this whatever the fuck super game is. And so it's nice to see them not just struggling and trying to come up with a new Sonic game to crank out for the 90th time. And I hope that all this continues to go well, because again, the last thing I want is Sega to go under and then all of their licenses go to, I don't know, Konami. And then all of a sudden we're playing Jet Set Radio.
Machines.
Yeah, pachinko machines. Yeah.
Jet Set Radio Future.
The pachinko experience.
Awesome.
Fuck. Ubisoft also, of course, we're getting to that time of year, so everyone's kind of talking about their strategies for the next year and their financials of the previous. Ubisoft confirms its position from 2018, stating that they will be, and I say that because a lot of people got confused and thought that this was new, like a new strategic move for them, but they had already mentioned that this was the path they were taking a couple years ago. So they confirmed their position from 2018, stating that they will be moving away from the 3 to 4 AAA, games a year model that they've had for quite some time, and move into a focus on more high-end free-to-play titles, because that's where money is. If we're going to be honest, that's where the dollar signs are. You're going to see more and more major developers go that route, because when they get to that size, and you're going from putting out 3 to 4 AAA games a year, and you're not seeing the big dollar signs that another developer put out one game, and it was free to play, and they're swimming in more money than you are, it gets tempting. And so that's what they're going to do. Now, Lord knows if they're going to just take what they already got and convert to free to play, like The Division maybe becomes free to play entirely, or other titles of theirs can be shifted into that model. But that's definitely the way to go. They're obviously still going to make AAA standalone games, but they're moving more towards the free-to-play stuff. And I got to be honest with you, they're saying 3 to 4 AAA titles a year. I don't think I can name 3 to 4 AAA fucking Ubisoft games that have come out in any calendar year. I think they might be stretching the definition of what AAA is for some of these titles. Yeah. Because other than like Assassin's Creed and maybe Rainbow Six, I'm not thinking of a lot of fucking AAA titles that are getting cranked out every single year. Underneath of them. I mean, like Far Cry, I guess. That's not really been yearly. Speaking of, Ubisoft has still had games to come this year, including Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six Quarantine. They're really doubling down on that name. That's a bold move, Cotton. Riders Republic, which is like sort of like Steep, but mountain biking instead, I guess, is what my takeaway is from that. Remember, Steep was the skiing up in the mountain. The trailer, the dude hit like the bell in the church tower, and I wanted to play the game because he hit the bell in the church tower, botching a jump. Yeah, it's like that, but with bikes. The Division Heartland and Roller Champions. I don't even know what the fuck Roller Champions is. And that's what I mean. I feel like they're going to say something like Roller Champions is a AAA game, and I'm like,
that ain't it.
If I don't know about it, it's probably not a AAA. It's probably not a AAA game. But that's the fiscal year. So so like that doesn't mean 2021. I should clarify. Fiscal year. So that's up to end of March, basically March, April 2022. And also, speaking of some delays, I believe they delayed one. Skull and Bones, yeah, Skull and Bones, which is the Yarhar pirate game, was pushed to fiscal year 2022, which means fucking all the way up until March, April of 2023. More Battlefield news cropped up, Mr. Black. They're getting ready, as they are apparently going to be showing it in June. We're going to get our first major look of it in June, so either E3 or Summer of Games. I'm guessing E3 if it's June. But we'll get a first real big look of it in June, so that's coming up quick, because sometimes I forget that we're halfway through May. So we're
Yes, yeah, June will be here before you know
it. Blink and suddenly it's E3. So yeah, they're gonna have our first viewing in June. But the CEO of EA did come out to say that it will be this is a bit of a contradicting statement for me. A true next-gen experience featuring, notably, epic scale, okay? Unbelievable player counts is what he's calling these. Unbelievable. So we already know that Warzone is is over over 100, was 120 or some shit. I can't remember what the count is for
a lot.
Warzone.
Yeah.
I'm guessing 200. My guess
250.
200 to 250. There have been games that have done those numbers before. So we'll see, but obviously games have gotten far more fucking substantial since then. And game-changing destruction.
Ooh.
Which is what Battlefield used to be about. So, I guess they're bringing that back. The reason why I say that I'll believe it when I see it here is that apparently this is going to be a cross-gen title. So last gen and this gen. So if you're telling me this is going to be a true next-gen Battlefield game, but you're also going to have to hamstring it so that it runs on a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One,
that ain't it.
I don't believe you. I just don't believe the laws of physics tell me that you're going to have to cripple the fuck out of at least one of those two, or not, if not both, just so you can sell on last gen's consoles.
Yep.
Now, we talked about this before, Mr. Black, how we feel like this is their last chance to really nail Battlefield before they're going to be basically fighting an uphill battle that they might not be able to win in the future, trying to make this franchise relevant again.
Yep.
Do you think, obviously they're putting it on old consoles to increase their ability to sell copies right now.
Yep.
But do you think that in this, because this is how I think of it, in an environment now, or in a gaming market now where titles like a new Battlefield one are long tail games, they're service games, they're around for 2-3 years, being pumped full of new content, free to play shit, etc., etc. Do you think it was wise to make this cross-platform or cross-gen like this, or do you think they should have just gone all in on next-gen, knowing that the game's going to be around so long that the possible player base will be more than large enough, with the likes of things like just the number of sales for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X you're going to get in 2 years, 3 years, even where they are now, and Game Pass and things like that nature, the player base that exists? Do you think it was worth probably hamstringing the game to put it on older consoles?
Well, it depends on when they're trying to release this game. Like, if they're trying to release this game like next year, they probably have to leave it the way it is. It's so hard to find a PlayStation right now. Not only that, is you can't assume that every person that has a PlayStation or a new gen console actually wants to play Battlefield.
Yeah, the attach rate's not 100%.
Yeah. This isn't Call of Duty we're talking about here.
Yeah.
This is Battlefield, right? So I would imagine that it's a play that they just have to do if they want to actually sell their game. It's unfortunate because it's obviously going to cause some issues, but it's just the way it is. Because if you have 250 players and that's your big selling point, hey, 250 people in a Battlefield cross-platform, you got to make sure that you can queue up and get 250 people consistently, and you're not sitting in queue forever. Because if you're playing the long game, where in 3 years, everybody's going to have the next gen console, and you have there'll be more players, but 3 years or 4 years from now is a long fucking time in gaming, and Battlefield does not have a good track record to stay relevant for a long period of time. If this was like Fortnite, if this was Call of Duty, if this was any other
something
game
with a proven player base that's big enough.
Yeah, I don't think they can gamble that. So I think ultimately it's probably the right decision for them. But I'm not even interested in Battlefield, so I don't give a fuck if they say, hey, you can blow up every single building in the world, and on top of that, we have 500 players. I'm still checked out. I'm done with Battlefield. It's going to be a shit show. So
Yeah, I'm wondering how. I'm really wondering how they're gonna, because player count is what will cripple the old consoles fastest, right? Like in terms of online play, the higher the player count, the more likely, the more technically limited the game is going to be. Obviously the graphics are going to be completely fucking destroyed on the old gen consoles for multiplayer specifically, which is already a thing that's happened for years. Where the single player has the ability, obviously, for obvious reasons, to run at better resolutions or with better textures and more shadows and stuff. And then when you go online, all of a sudden everything looks flat and fucking dead. It's to make up for the player count and all of the performance hits that come along with that. So, yeah, I don't know. Every time somebody mentions epic player counts and stuff like this, I think about the one and only game I ever played where that player count felt, or a player count like that felt good, and that was a game called Join Ops. And it was Join Ops, and then they had an expansion, Join Ops. I can't remember the name of the expansion. Anyway, Brian and I played it for a long time when we were younger, and they had 180 or some shit, 200 fucking players. The maps were huge, a lot of vehicles, dense jungle and shit. And so it actually allowed for more strategic play where you weren't necessarily, even though there was that many people, you weren't running into 40 fucking people at a time, right? You weren't cresting a hill and all of a sudden there was 60 people firing nonstop in a single direction. The maps were big enough that you had skirmishes pushing points all over the map, and being a sniper meant something. You could be in a hill laying down, and you might be there for 15 minutes before you see somebody, but your play made a difference versus just quick scoping snipers, which is what snipers have become in every fucking modern game. I'm going to take this sniper into combat where I'm fighting somebody 30 meters away from me. So that's the one game I can think of that I've played that actually did it well, and I'm sure that with next gen stuff and PCs as they are, that you could push something like that with a map size and game modes that could make that work. But is that something that enough people want right now? I still think people are going to cringe if there's no Battle Royale, even though Battlefield has shown that they do not know how to fucking do a Battle Royale. Even though all they have to do is basically take PUBG and let people blow up houses, and you're done. They could do that, and it would probably be wildly fucking successful just based on that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the majority of Battlefield players, I don't know this for sure, but I feel like the majority have always been on PC anyway. Unless you're talking about something like Bad Company, which were very popular on the consoles, I think that Battlefield has always been majority PC in the first place. PC market has never been in a better place. The average PC hardware has never been in a better place. And personally, I would have said, fuck it. Just put it on PC, put it on next-gen consoles. Because what are they aiming to sell here? If they're in raw copies, if they're not making this free to play. Their benchmark is probably 7 or 8 million fucking copies, and they're probably not going to be too upset about it, given the last couple of Battlefield games being dog shit. So if that's what they were going for, and then hoping to microtransaction sell the fuck out of it like everyone else, which would be the smart thing to do, I don't know. I probably would have gone all in on next gen shit, and just ran with it that way. I think we're at the point now with these consoles that by the time Battlefield comes out, most games are going to be exclusively next gen. By the time this Battlefield game comes out, even if it comes out at the end of this year, we're at that point where the majority of games now, unless they're heavily delayed third-party titles, are all going to be next gen. So I don't know. It's probably very scary to make that judgment call internally, because you need to make money on this because you haven't made money all that well in the last couple of games. They weren't well received. You need a dub. You need a big fucking dub.
Yep.
And somebody internally had to make the call, do we hedge our bets on this dub and put it on old consoles and possibly fuck ourselves by hamstringing this game going up against whatever Call of Duty's going to have coming up next, because they'll have a return fire button.
Oh, for sure.
Ready
to go. Oh yeah, ready to go.
So that's a scary thing, but we'll wait and see. June. That's when we're going to see it. I'm excited to see what they've got. I want them to blow me away. I want them to blow my fucking mind. Show me what you got, Battlefield, because you used to be my favorite. And now I couldn't possibly fucking care less about Battlefield. So, you know, bring me back, for God's sake. PlayStation's Herman Hulst told Wired in an interview that there are, and this just continues to show their strategy that we've talked about here multiple times now. They have 25 first-party titles in development currently for PlayStation 5. As, again, first-party, not 25 exclusives, 25 first-party titles in development for the PlayStation 5. Half of those are new IPs. That's some major numbers.
Yeah.
For both new IPs and first-party titles. So they are very much all in on this. You know, we've got the games. Most of these are likely to be exclusives. We've got the games, and that's what they're going to run with. That's their primary tool to fight off Microsoft's Game Pass. Now, how many of those are not indie games? Fucking God only knows. You can say something like 25 games and, 18 of them could be indie titles being internally worked on. But all the same, that's substantial. And we'll have to wait and see. Are there any kind of like old Sony titles that you enjoyed that you'd like to see make a comeback here? Because they've got a deep fucking stable of first party shit.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Or most of your games that you're interested in, are most of them third party titles at this point?
I'm just not really interested in many games, man. Like I only ever really get excited about Resident Evil stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the stage where it's just like, if they come out with something that looks interesting, then, I'll give it a rip. But I don't really have any games where I'm like, man, I wish they could do that. The only thing I'm excited for right now is to see what Frost Giant makes with their RTS.
Yeah.
Like that really excites me. Outside of that, man, like I'm just not a casual gamer anymore.
Yeah.
So
I'm assuming most of what you're looking for is because at this point in your old age, you're looking for a tight, concise 8 to 12 hour
experiences. I just want that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in these expansive multiplayers and this, just
60 hour.
Yeah, that ain't it for me. I'm just, for other people, sure, I get it. But for me, that ain't it.
Yeah,
Give me a max 20-hour game, max. And it better be a damn good 20-hour game. I mean, a fucking damn good. Like, I'm kind of like, between 8 and 12 hours is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
Give me that, or give me a solid indie 6-hour experience that I can play in one sitting, and I'm in.
Yeah, if you're talking a first like a single player experience and you're not talking multiplayer fluff or whatever the fuck else, 8 to 12 hours is great. For most games. There are exceptions where 16 to 20 hours for stuff that's a little bit more, we want to call it RPG-ish, where there's more character development, which is normally what you require the extra time to get in, is good. But like you said, if you're hitting 20 hours or north of 20 hours, God forbid, you better be fucking crushing that 20 hours from beginning to end with no dead air. And I agree with that. Now, there were times where longer games, not just because of the time when you're younger, you have more disposable time to just plow into games, but even back then, a lot of the good games were fairly short. They were 8 to 12 hours. They weren't too long. Then there were the titles that were longer, but I don't know. Maybe it might be nostalgia, but I feel like the longer games back then were more substantive, they had more substance than the long games now. Like if you look at games that were in the 20 to 30, like let's call it like a Parasite Eve or some shit, for example.
Dude, you want what's crazy is when you said, is there any games that you're
Parasite Eve, one of them?
that shit came right, like, that was the first game that came to my mind. It's like, man, I wouldn't mind a Parasite Eve game. Like,
I'd fucks with a Parasite Eve game.
I wouldn't mind seeing what they do with that.
I wonder who owns the license for Parasite Eve.
I'm not sure, but I swear to God, when you said that, that was the first game that came to my mind.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. And then even though nobody else would play it, give me a remake of Galarians.
I'd be down for Galarians as well.
Release me! Dude, we watched that fucking intro video like it was a movie.
Yep.
Over and over and over again.
It was a movie back then, man.
That's true. It was. If you've never played Galarians out there, guys, all right?
I have a copy.
Yeah, I've got a Black Label copy here myself. I mean, we bought it. When we went to Montreal, remember? Bought it in Montreal.
And you bought it for what, like $60 or $70?
$40.
Dude, I wonder how much that game's going for right now.
Black Label. It's in pretty good shape. I wouldn't say it's fucking mint, but it's in pretty good shape. I think the disc is good. It's just the case, obviously. Those old plastic cases don't do well over time.
Galarians.
Galerer.
Oh, yeah.
IANS, I think.
All right, there it is.
What are we going for?
I want to see what the most recent ones have sold for here.
I doubt it's gone up that much.
Oh, dude, retro. My collection has gone up like 30% in the last year.
Hot damn.
Yeah. This year's.
It's such an obscure game. Like, there's so many people I know that I've mentioned it, and nobody's even fucking heard of it before.
Price, condition. Why isn't it? Why? Anyway, yeah, I'll let you know here in a sec.
Yeah, so I'd go for a Galarians. I'd go for a Parasite Eve. I'd go for
just use my app. It'll tell me.
Man, what else? What else is in that cat? I mean, I'm still waiting for a fucking Legend of Dragoon redo. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me the Legend of Dragoon. It still desperately needs to. That's the game we need. Fuck a Final Fantasy VII remake. Give me Legend of Dragoon. I want that, or at the very least, give me a Japanese RPG that utilizes the same combat system, because that combat system was fire. That definitely needs to happen at some point. Legend of Dragoon prequel. I like how you think, Quillix.
The Legend of Dragoon prequel.
Yeah, because I mean, there was in the game, like Legend of Dragoon, you know, the cutscenes and stuff. They go back and they show like the war and stuff that was happening beforehand. And,
so yeah, Galarians $120.
Damn, tripled the value. Let's go.
$120. Yep, $120.
Let's go. Big money.
There you
Selling
go.
it now, buying a house.
Done.
Did they even have a green label for Galarians? Probably not.
I don't think so. I think it's all black. Yeah, it's all black label.
All black label. Hit Nomura with a shovel if he tries to go near Legend of Dragoon. Exactly. Or literally, I don't know, a mace. Or a truncheon. Or a car, if you need to. Just keep him away from Legend of Dragoon. But yeah, definitely Parasite Eve, I think. And I'm pretty sure Parasite Eve would be on the short list of, if they have the ability to do it, that would be like a game that would happen. But we will see when the time comes, because the remakes and remasters are all the rage right now. So we'll have to wait and see what pops up. Next up, Target will stop selling trading cards, as well as Walmart, actually. Sports cards, Pokemon cards, etc. in stores. You can buy them online, but in stores they're halting that. Oof. As of May 14th, so tomorrow. Until further notice, due to several events. I mean, we all know how hot the trading card market is right now. It's nuts. It's literally insane. Yep. Someone pulled a gun in the parking lot over a dispute over trading cards at a Target not long ago. And so that added to the maybe we shouldn't have them here. Also, $20,000 worth of cards were stolen recently from a Walmart or a Target. I can't remember which one it was. And so with the market being as hot as it is and people literally insane, they were like, all right, this is not worth having in stores. We'll sell this shit online. and not have our employees be at risk of somebody getting in a shootout over Pokemon cards. So, you got until tomorrow if you want to buy them in store at those 2 locations. Otherwise, you're going to have to probably look for your mom and pop shops selling them, and go have your open carry shootouts over first edition Charizard there instead of doing it at Target or a Walmart. E3 has released information on how the virtual event will work, so we know exactly how this is going to go down. It will, of course, be available in streams on stuff like Twitch and YouTube, but they also have a more full-service option here. Let's see here. They have, in a press release, the ESA described the online portal and apps, this comes via Eurogamer, by the way, as a key hub for the duration of the show. It's a portal, so web portal, so website, but also an app. They're going to have an app for E3 that serves as a key hub for the duration of the show. It will feature hosted events, virtual booths, online forums, video conferencing, and even profile and avatar creation. The exhibitor booths will have special events along with VOD content and articles, and will act as hubs within the portal for key announcements and game information tied to each exhibitor. It gets weirder from here. The app will also have lounges described as gathering spots for all E3 attendees, along with leaderboards. The leaderboards are apparently gamified show elements that can be collected and displayed, encouraging fans to interact in as many ways as possible. The portal and app will also show E3 live broadcast, complete with interactive overlays featuring viewer polls and tweets. That makes a change from watching thousands of people demand Elden Ring in Twitch chat, apparently, is what the editor here said. So there you go. So they have a... the event's going to be hosted by Golden Boy, actually, I believe, is going to be the main MC for the show. So, there you have it. An app for E3, also on the web portal, or you can just watch it on YouTube and Twitch like 99% of pretty much everyone else, because really, who's going to want to download an app for E3?
Not me.
That's yikes.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to be giving out some serious freebies for people to be showing up in app form to get that, because when you get that app, they're gonna be like, what information are you gonna take? All of it,
every single ounce,
all the information you can give us, so that we can resell it, because this event is not profitable.
No, but your information, it is
very profitable. And that's it. That's all we got, Mr. Black. That's all we got. It's time to sell out.
Patreon.com/LagTV. If you guys want to support the podcast, y'all know where to go. Throw some money at the screen. If you don't have money to throw at the screen, that's okay. Hit the like button here on YouTube. Go on Spotify and iTunes and leave a review. Share the podcast. Leave a comment so that you can help the algorithms. All that stuff. Show up and just watch. It's a great way. Another great way to support the stream is to support the sponsors. We got NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN service, it's 2021. What are you doing with your life? Go pick one up. 70% off when you use the promo code OTT, and you get a bonus month when you get a 2-year subscription. Plus, you can use up to 6 simultaneous devices, and you can use it on your phone, your TV, your smart TV, your computer, really any device. NordVPN has got an app basically for everything at this point. So, mask your IP, watch different regions of Netflix, watch region block content. Twitter likes to block a lot of videos these days. You can unlock it all with NordVPN at the click of a button. Super easy to set up. Even my old man can do it. So go and check them out. They're a big supporter of the podcast. So when you're in need for a VPN, think NordVPN and head over to www.nordvpn.com/OTT. Plus, we've got Elgato. If you guys don't already got a Stream Deck, well, you gotta get one. If you don't already have a key light, you gotta get one. If you don't already have a green screen, maybe you gotta get one of those. If you've got the next-gen console and you want to capture it for YouTube, Twitch, or just for your own personal You got to get one of those Elgato capture cards with the 4K HDR 60 frames and the most affordable capture cards in the market for what you're getting. So if you want to get out there and get a 4K 60 frame HDR, you're hard pressed to find a better one at a better price. It just doesn't exist. So head on over to Elgato. Check out all their products. They're literally, I feel like they're coming out with new products every month. And every product that they come out with pretty much has a very useful need. It's like things that just they need to come up with a webcam. That's what they need. They need to figure out, because this is Logitech stuff that we got. As much as I like Logitech, this C920 or the C28 928, it ain't it. You seen what happened with the lighting? It ain't it.
You know what they need, Mr. Black?
What's that?
They need like a USB 3.0, 3.1, so USB-C powered camera that is like a middle ground between a DSLR and a webcam. It, like, if you give
a hybrid,
like, you get like a even if it was only 1080p 60, but you get like a mid-grade DSLR quality with a good lens, like a good sensor on it for low light and shit, and then you sell that bad boy for, you know, $249. You're gonna do big numbers. People are out here spending like $4,000 on fucking like Sony DSLRs and $700 lenses. Fuck that shit. Give me 80% of that for $249.99.
There you go. Other than that, that's it.
Which means it's time for
movies and TV.
Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Got the trailer, dropped. Looks pretty good. Looks like another Venom movie. But more importantly, Woody Harrelson is Carnage.
Yeah.
Which means I'm going to watch the movie.
I got to be honest. I really, really liked the first Venom a lot. It surprised the hell out of me. It was just a fun time. And I think this movie is going to be fun as well. I just wasn't a fan of the trailer. I was not a fan of the comedy. I felt it was flat. The Venom voice that Tom Hardy does, it just seemed weird.
The audio was bad in the first movie as well. So hopefully they fix that, because the audio was bad and the visuals were, let's just say,
they were lackluster. The movie itself was just it felt, it didn't take itself too serious. It kind of had like that cheesy 90s action old comic book feel to it, which I really, really liked. But yeah, I don't know. I just really wasn't feeling this trailer at all.
I was kind of lukewarm on it. I gotta be honest. I'm like, I love Tom Hardy. The first movie was kind of mediocre for me. I enjoyed like the humor and stuff. Tom did a good job there, but I'm more or less gonna watch this movie because Woody Harrelson's in it. That's basically why I'm gonna watch this movie, and because it's Carnage. And of the two, I've always enjoyed Carnage more than Venom. So, growing up, I was a Carnage fanboy. Fuck Venom. So I'm in it for Woody Harrelson and Carnage. I love Tom Hardy, but I don't know. The more I think about it, the less I like the first movie. I don't know. Like the more I think about the first movie, the visuals were ass. The sound was fucking terrible. It felt like we got the same action sequence 4 times.
Yeah.
The best thing I can say about it is that Tom Hardy did a good job.
Yeah, he did.
That was like the high point of that was Tom Hardy. So I'll definitely still watch this. But yeah, hopefully the audio visual aspect gets a bit of a bump in the pay grade there. And hopefully, a little bit more variety in general. But yeah, I will watch it all the same. Mostly because I'm a sucker for Woody Harrelson. I can't not watch a Woody Harrelson film at this point. Kind of like Owen Wilson being in the new fucking like Loki. I couldn't have. I like if he wasn't in it, I wouldn't watch it. But now that he's in it, now I feel like I have to watch it. I feel like I don't have a choice. And if he doesn't say wow at least once.
You know he will.
Very disappointed.
Yeah.
Knives Out, Mr. Black, has added 2 more to the roster. This is starting to feel like somebody's building some sort of early 90s Dream Team basketball Olympics team, taking her to the rim. We got Dave Bautista, who's joining the cast, which was kind of a surprise for me. I didn't think that I'd be seeing Dave Bautista in a fucking Knives Out movie, but here we are. And then Catherine Hahn, who is
They also added
did I miss somebody?
Edward Norton.
Wow. So this is quite the cast of characters we got going on right now.
Yeah.
Knives Out is quickly turning into the let's get a bunch of really popular actors together and make a movie. That's basically Clue, and do that as often as possible, because really, this is a franchise that you could basically churn out once every 2 years, 3 years, with new characters, and then just keep getting Daniel Craig to have a bad accent, and you're done.
That's it.
And they've got 2 more lined up, so they're already halfway there.
Yes.
They're already halfway there. I still can't get over the fact that he's going to make that much money on the fucking...
$100 million.
That's so much money!
It's a lot of dough.
How much is Dave Bautista making?
Not 100 million. Probably 2.
2 to 5, somewhere in that neighborhood.
He's definitely not getting 5. He's probably getting $1 or $2 million bucks. That's it. I don't see him making.
So what's the full cast? Do we know what the full cast is?
No, they're just gonna keep adding people.
Okay. How many are we at right now? We got like 4? So Daniel, Dave, Catherine, and Ed?
Yeah.
And that's the show?
Yeah, there'll be a bunch more.
Yeah. Do you have any likes that you'd want to show up in a Knives Out movie?
I'd fucks with some Leonardo DiCaprio if he showed up. It'd be fun. I think Tom Cruise would be a fun little cameo to put in there if he played like a really...
I think he needs to be obnoxious as fuck if he's going to be in it, though.
Yeah.
You know, he like kind of almost not as turned as, but close to the character he played in fucking Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, yeah. Like if you had a weird character like that, and Tom Cruise came in and just did, had a small cameo.
Yeah,
I think it'd be funny.
Yeah. I'd go for. I didn't think about it until I just thought of that question, but I'd like to see maybe like a I don't know. I feel like I want to see obscure actors, or not obscure, but actors I don't see a lot, or like actors that used to be popular but aren't as popular. I feel like this is like the perfect format for that shit. Like, yeah, you want to have currently popular to bring people in, but then maybe have like some other actors that haven't been in the circuit and like bring them the fuck in. I think that's like, hey, I don't know if I can think of anyone, specifically, but that's I think what I would like to see some of the cast be is like previously popular but not front runners anymore. That might be cool. What's her name? Let's toss out a random. Let's go for oh my god, why can I not? Helen Mirren would be a good one for this. For that format. I
think what's his face there from Game of Thrones, Hand of the King. Oh man. What's his name, guys? Peter Dinklage. I think Peter Dinklage.
Oh my god, yes.
Would be a perfect suit.
Holy shit.
Like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. I would also go for just to continue with the older female cast. I think Helen Mirren and Meryl Streep would both be great choices. Give me Stanley Tucci. I think he's a perfect fucking Knives Out actor. Oh. He's got the humor, but he's also really good. I feel like Stanley Tucci's an underrated fucking actor in the first place. But like, give me Stanley Tucci in that shit. Brendan Fraser, yes.
Oh god.
Yes. Yes, campaign for Brendan Fraser, Knives Out 3. Holy fuck, they would. Ryan Johnson would win 1 million internet points for putting Brendan Fraser in Knives Out. Holy fuck. That's it. That's it. That's the winner. Shady's got the winner. That's it. I got no. There's no higher choice than that. Nickelodeon, Mr. Black, is bringing back the Legends of the Hidden Temple, but this time it's for adult contestants.
Oh my god.
Hitting that millennial demographic.
Stop the madness.
The people that watched it as kids now wanting to be on it as adults.
There you go.
There you go. You know what? I never watched Legends of the Hidden Temple more than 3 times when I was a kid.
I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
I've watched it a few times.
Yeah, I never get. I was more of an on YTV kind of guy.
I like that.
Yeah. Dude, the guy that they got to play the MC of was one of the biggest fucking cartoon characters I think I've ever seen in my life. He had the fucking big ass hair, and he had like he had the corny game show host vibe down fucking perfectly. What was his name in that? Wink Yahoo or some shit.
Yeah.
Wink Yahoo! Give me an adult Fuck a Legends of the Hidden Temple. Obviously. Give me adult starring Helen or Meryl Streep, Helen Mirren, Stanley Tucci, and Brendan Fraser. There you go.
There you go. There it is.
Mr. Black, that's all I've got, unless you've got something else for movies and TV.
Nothing really, not too much. I mean, they've started filming the prequel for Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Amazing.
They started filming that. No, other than that, I haven't really heard any other news. Dave Bautista's movie there with Zack Snyder, the zombie movie, is coming out here on Netflix. I think next week.
The evil something.
Yeah, House of the Dead or
House of Evil or the Evil something.
I don't know. Something.
Oh, it's a zombie movie.
Zombie movie. Yeah.
I just realized I've had gum in my mouth this entire podcast. I'm a fucking idiot. Hopefully people didn't hear that the whole time. So the only other thing I guess I'll add is that Em and I just finished a show on Netflix called Vincenzo. It's a K-drama. I gotta say, really fucking good. Solid mix of legit drama. Some great humorous moments in there. Lots of comedy, great cast of characters, very entertaining show. So if you're looking for something to pass some time, I think there's like 18, 19 episodes or something like that. Vincenzo, definitely give her a rip if you're into reading some subtitles.
Kayla and I, we got through Falcon and Winter Soldier.
So
we binged that. And
what was your take on that? Because that's been a bit of a divisive show on my Twitter timeline.
I actually liked it more than WandaVision. And I was a pretty big fan of WandaVision. I thought WandaVision ended a little lackluster. But ultimately, it was more of my vibe. Although I can appreciate what WandaVision did, I thought it was some of the best writing I've seen in a television sitcom slash. I don't even know what you call that. It was just super creative. It was like experiencing a really, really, really good indie game. Like, you play an indie game and you're like, whoa, where did this come from? I was not expecting this. They didn't stick the landing as well as I would want them to, but ultimately it was still a really fun show. It was unique. It was different, which is good. I think Loki's probably going to be the best out of all of them. But because they got a really good cast and Tom Hiddleston is awesome. But Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was action packed. It was like every single episode just about had, and if each episode was almost an hour long, some of them were a little bit more. And I would say each episode had at least 20 minutes of action, like just straight up, like good action sequences, Marvel action sequences. And yeah, the story was kind of meh. And there was some really fucking cringy moments at the end, literal last episode. where they're just trying to get a point across. I won't spoil anything, but I was just like cringing a bit. I was like, God, Disney, like, why? Why are you? Why?
Gotta have those Disney, virtue signaling episodes. You
Oh
gotta
my
get
God,
them in.
it was a political,
Was it as bad as the last half hour of the second Wonder Woman movie in that regard?
it was just as bad, I think. And thank God it was only like a part of the episode, but you could see they started planting these seeds towards like the last few episodes, and I'm like, oh my God, I see where this is going. I see this agenda. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for anybody in this game, but like I can see where this is going, and lo and behold, they went there, and they didn't only go there. There was like full-blown speeches and like just like stuff where I was like, oh my God, this is cringe. But outside of that, it was a good experience. Like I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
For a TV, like you watch on Disney Plus, and it was only 6 episodes. It was paced well. I never watched an episode and felt bored where I was like, oh, it was good. It was a good show. So we enjoyed that. I don't know what we're gonna watch next because
Em and I are. We don't know.
Watch this Jupiter. There's like Jupiter Legacy or Jupiter.
Em watched the first episode and a bit of that, and I checked out of it in the first 15 minutes. It might be a show that you need to get like 4 episodes, 5 episodes in or some shit before it starts to like, click or whatever. But I don't know. I'm kind of an asshole. We all know this, but like I saw the cover for it, and then I watched just the outfits and shit, and I was already done. It just looked like somebody went to Goodwill and slapped together fucking superhero suits and shit. And I already didn't care. And then when we watched it and we got like a half hour in, and I was like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of these superhero, when you're doing origin stuff, they usually do start off with these costumes that look shitty because they kind of making them themselves or like whatever, right? Until they,
oh, it's a hurting situation.
I don't know. I've been hearing mixed things about it. I don't know what we're gonna watch, but yeah, that's it. That's
beautiful.
That's it.
Which means it's time for
tech support.
Patreon.com/lagtv. For $10 or more a month, you can get a couple of perks, one of which is being able to ask us questions on a post that I put up before the podcast each week called Tech Support, where we answer as many of these questions as we can in the time that we have. And being that we're only an hour in and this is our 200th episode, we'll try and answer as many of these bad boys as possible today. 200 episodes, by the way, Mr. Black.
We're old.
200!
Wow.
Fuck. It's a lot of, and it doesn't sound like a lot until you realize it's weeks. And then all of a sudden that becomes much more impressive.
Yeah, we've been doing this probably for 3 years? More? 4 years?
This is going on 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's going on 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Dan Jim asks, have you ever met any famous celebrities while going to an event that wasn't for their own show, but instead were just like amongst the crowd? I've never gone to any kind of events where that would even be a thing that was happening, really. No
major celebrities. Like I bumped into Sean Paul at a Cascada concert.
Fuck.
But
how short is Sean Paul?
He's really short, actually. He was really short. Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of a celebrity that I bumped into. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a few. I've seen a ton of celebrities at UFC events, like a lot. I've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger. I saw Sylvester Stallone, Wiz Khalifa.
Did you catch The Undertaker at any of them? He'd be hard to miss.
I didn't see Undertaker. Who else did I see at a UFC event? A lot of sports players, like football players.
Yeah,
and
they
shit.
got a lot of those guys. Probably some people you don't even know are celebrities because they're like sports people that you just don't even realize or like recognize the.
Yeah,
the
I
person.
obviously seen a ton of UFC fighters.
Yeah,
But yeah, outside of that, yeah, I don't know.
Xenon Slayer says, are there any book series that you've ever wanted to pick up but never have?
No.
I got out of reading after university. I did so much of it, I hated it. I used to read a lot before university, and then university crushed my soul for reading, and then I just stopped, and my vocabulary died, and now I'm an idiot. But there are some series, I own them, and I just haven't read them. I physically bought the books. They're there. Like, for example, I bought, I think, the first part of Wheel of Time. I also bought the Mistborn series. I have the entire Mistborn series that I read like a quarter to a half of the first book. So yeah, there are certainly a couple. I would have liked to have finished reading all of the Lord of the Rings. I only read like the first book when I was younger. I never went through and read all of the Lord of the Rings. But yeah, not a long list. I read a fair I read a fair amount when I was younger, but yeah, after university, fuck me. I thought maybe after a few years being out of university it would come back and I'd be like, yeah, I want to get into reading again. Never happened.
That ain't it.
Never happened. I'm sure it will happen in the future at some point. I bought a Kindle. Didn't help. I was like, maybe I just need like a new format or whatever. I read what I read on my Kindle. The first two Rama books by Arthur C. Clarke. And then that was like the fucking show. Jorbach asks, was there a time where you tried to do something kind for somebody, but they took it all the wrong way? Has someone tried to be kind, or has someone, and conversely, has someone trying to be kind pissed you off? It's like, so you took it the wrong way. So have you ever tried to do something for somebody and they took it the wrong way, and then in the reverse, have you ever taken it the wrong way when somebody tried to do something nice for you?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. Can't really think of. I know it's kind of a cop-out answer, but I just legitimately can't think of a time where.
There have been when I was younger, so even junior high is when it first started happening, because that's around the age where like social stuff starts to really become a thing. I was like the guy that everyone would go to with their shit. I was like the Dr. Phil of the fucking the school. It was like when I was I had zero fucking game. Like no girls paid attention to me until probably Jesus almost into high school, if not halfway through high school. But I was Dr. Phil, so like I was fucking Dr. Phil for all of these girls going through their shit. I was that cuck. I was that guy. And guys too, like a lot of people could just come to me with their shit. And the thing that would happen there would be that, it's one of my pet peeves is when somebody comes to me and they ask for my advice, and then I give my advice, and then they don't take it, but then they come back and they complain about stuff again, and I give them the same advice again, and then they go and they don't do it again, they come back, and after a while I'm like, look, if you're gonna come to me and ask me for advice and you're not gonna do it 3 fucking times and still complain about it, I don't want to hear about your problems anymore. I don't have the time for that shit. You know, if you go and you take my advice and it doesn't work, you come back and be like, all right, that's my bad. But don't go like, don't come to me asking for very specific advice and then not act on that advice and then come back with the same problem 4 or 5 times. That happened a lot, for sure. And then for me, taking it the wrong way, I don't think so. I'm usually, if somebody's going to offer me help and I'm going to accept it, it's because I know I need the help. So I don't ever get defensive about it. Be like, how dare you assume that I need your help? Like
Fuck you.
Fuck yourself.
How dare you be a friend?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's ever I don't think
Yeah,
that's
I
ever
mean,
happened.
I'm sure there has been times where, especially in my younger years, where people probably told me like, Jeff, you need to get your shit together.
Hmm.
Most certainly, like, I don't even want to say my parents, but um, I don't know. It's been so long, but I'm sure that there has been times where people were just like, bro, what are you doing?
Mm.
Um, and then usually, if I got defensive, it was usually more of, I don't want to hear it. Like I know, but I don't need you to fucking tell me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just like
yeah.
I know they mean well, but at the same time, like it's more of an insecurity of mine where I just don't want to accept, reality. And people were trying to tell me like, hey, bro, this ain't it. Um, that's probably like the closest thing I could think of. But yeah, I don't think I've ever given somebody advice or tried to help somebody or give them something or help their situation out, and then they took it the wrong way. I don't think
Mm.
so. Or they haven't been vocal to me about it.
I feel like in order for that to happen, you need to be putting yourself in a position where you're giving advice unsolicited more than you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes life calls for you to be that person for a friend where they're not asking, but nobody else is checking them, and so you have to kind of make the decision if you're going to stick your neck out and be the friend that isn't the yes man, like we talked about this the other week. But unless you're doing that all the time, which means that you're doing it sometimes when you shouldn't be doing it, then the odds of you getting people like fucking retracting on that is kind of unlikely. Mark Furry asks, just saw an automated trading card sorter that holds 1,700 cards, and it sorts and catalogs them. That's fucking wild. What task do you have that you'd like to have a robot or technology do for you? We kind of talked about this last week, but that's a unique thing. That's fucking super useful. Holy shit. Can you
Well,
imagine?
I could have this robot,
Just sort your games?
alphabetically sort all of my games back here. That'd be a great little thing.
That
I'd
would
use that.
be
I would pay.
spectacular.
I would pay for that service.
Yes.
I would pay.
You could probably pay a person to do that, really, if you.
I probably could.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. If there was a way to with artificial intelligence, just do this based on what I'm working on right now, like reviews. The hardest part about doing video reviews is figuring out how much video footage you need to capture of the game to service the video review. So, because a video review is anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes long. Most of them hover between 10 and 15 minutes. So you don't need hours and hours and hours of footage. But the problem is, if you're not recording at the time, the odds of you missing something that would be fitting to have in the review goes up and up and up. And so it's a constant struggle to decide how much footage to record and how much footage to skip over in order to suit your review. So for me, if artificial intelligence could get to a point where I could record the entire review or record the entire game and then write the review and then have the AI contextually pull footage that matches my review based on words, and whatnot, kind of like they do with like querying for images on Google right now. That would be incredibly useful. Because then you're not scrubbing, like Mark doesn't have to, like, I don't have to struggle to know what to record and what not, and then Mark doesn't have to scrub video. Like right now our system is, I know that I'm only going to usually want footage in the first half to 3/4 of the game to avoid spoilers, major spoilers. And I know that I want more or less the first hour of the game because a lot of the stuff that is used in the review happens in the first hour of the game. And then I break it out into folders that I give names that are literally descriptors of what happens in that footage. And that's like as concise or as specific as I can get. But then Mark still has to scrub through all this video to find shit to match up with the review. So that would be I think fucking incredible if we could do that. Yeah, Mark pointing at Final Fantasy VII Remake review, 36-minute long video. Lots of footage for that one. So yeah, sometimes that would be incredibly useful to have a feature like that. Chico said, just want to say hello. Hi, Chico.
Hey. Hey, Chico.
Bless you for being around as long as you have on Patreon, brother. We appreciate it. Also, Zenmady saying, hey guys, no question, just want to say congrats and thank you for the 200. Hey, thank you, boss. Appreciate that. A great deal. Man, I'm hungry said, and now for a very important question. Jeff, how were these last 4 years? I'm guessing the podcast specifically for more or less. And what about you, Adam? How were the last 4 years? In the length of time this podcast has been running.
It's
I blinked and 4 years happened.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I've become a dad and life has changed a lot, but time's just going by so fast. Like the 4 years felt like 2. And then obviously this last couple years has just been a shit show because of COVID. So, I mean, overall, can't really complain. I've got a family, and more can you ask for? So,
yeah, all I know about the last 4 years is that I blinked and they were gone. Like, I don't. If you told me that we started this podcast 2 years ago, that would probably feel more accurate to me than 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Super quick. And I have a feeling that 2020 has a very large role in why that's the case. Because 2020 for me feels like it didn't even happen. Like that year is the year that didn't exist. It just, it was. And we still kind of, that's where we are right now.
2021 is still feeling like that. Like if it continues to go this route, like it's going to be like 2020, 2021 is like, I don't even think it's going to feel semi-normal again until like probably holiday season when we can actually be with our families for the holidays, knock on wood, and everything is kind of semi-normal again. Everything's fucked.
It's fucking
still
wild, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that's I mean, lots of if a lot of shit happens in 4 years, life-wise, some good, some bad, net positive for sure. But definitely highlighted by the fact that it felt like it disappeared real quick. Went real fast. For reference, the date of Technical Alpha Episode 1 on YouTube is March 18th of 2017. So we are officially past the 4-year post.
Wow.
Danish Devil, congrats on the 200, boys. How has the podcast as a new venture turned out at this point in its life compared to what you guys were hoping for? Also, for shits and giggles, hit me up with the sound of 200 episodes. Mr. Maximus Black, hit me up with the sound of 200 episodes.
Holy shit balls. 200.
So, I would say as a venture, the podcast has been, I would call a podcast successful, but not nearly as successful as I think either of us probably envisioned when we started the podcast. A lot of that is because we were 2 years too late to start the podcast with and we've talked about this several times on the podcast, of course, with Lag TV. If we had caught the more of the tail end of the Lag TV wave, then the podcast would have likely been substantially larger than it is now, not just because more people from Lag TV would have watched, but because that viewership on YouTube would have allowed us to have a better chance at getting exposure outside of our own little nest, as it is. So, because really the vast majority, like 98% of any new viewers that we have come from Jeff's stream during the host, because he streams on Thursdays and then he hosts over. Everyone that's on my stream watches the podcast because there's only fucking about 1,000 people unique people that move through my stream at this point. And so they all either listen to the podcast or watch it live, some weeks on, some weeks off. And a lot of them are crossover between Jeff and I. They're viewers of both of us. Like, ask me the last time somebody came in and hit the sub button as a new subscriber or a follow button as a new follower that wasn't a mutual of Jeff and I, or somebody that used to watch Jeff and I on YouTube and said, holy shit, lockdown happened, I'm new to Twitch, didn't think you guys were streaming, used to watch Lag TV in like 2011. The answer is it's been like 2 years. Like almost zero. Like maybe of all my new followers, maybe 10% are actually legitimately, they've never seen my shit before. They don't know anything about Lag TV. They don't know Jeff or another person that we've worked with in the past in the StarCraft community. It's like never fucking happens. So, that would have been, if we had started the podcast 2 years earlier, probably the ideal situation when we first fielded the idea of the podcast and then didn't go ahead with it. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, like I said, I think the podcast has been a success. There aren't a lot of there's so many podcasts. I mean, podcasts are a super saturated market, and the fact that we even have the listenership and viewership that we have with a podcast at all is a miracle. There are loads of podcasts that don't get anywhere near as many listeners as we do, and so we were very lucky in that regard.
Yeah, I would say I'm right where Adam is. I mean, if we would have started sooner, we would have given ourselves a much better chance. I mean, it wouldn't have been guaranteed.
Not guaranteed, no.
I think we would have had a much better shot. I think our core today would probably be 2 or 3 times bigger.
Yeah.
Assuming the podcast didn't really, blow up or anything, which I think. Yeah, I mean, it's.
I don't think it would have blown up, but I think our growth rate would have been better than it is now.
Yeah. I obviously, if you go for 4 years and, you guys are still supporting it, financially it's doing enough so that we show up and don't feel like, we're wasting our time.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. To know that you guys support it, and that's why we show up just about every single week. I mean, maybe 3 times a year we take a Thursday off for personal reasons, but outside of that, we're committed, right? Like we've been doing this every single week, and I could stream my own stream and probably do better financially than showing up on the podcast. But it's not about that. This podcast is fan service. It's also Adam and I were boys, and if we didn't do this together, we probably wouldn't see each other as much,
especially right now.
Exactly, because of Corona and stuff. But I mean, even outside of that, like our careers are fairly separate since the end of the StarCraft sort of saga.
Yeah.
So just hanging out with my boy and shooting the shit is worth it for me. I mean, obviously, we still look to, it has to be profitable to some degree, because I can go hang out with Adam on our free time and I don't need to put on a show. No. I don't need to do a podcast to do that, but we're grateful that so many of you guys show up and have been supporting for 4 years. Even after, 6 or 7 years of Lag TV stuff on YouTube, that we're still going over a decade, like, going on 11 years. So, in that sense, it's a success. And the fact that we're still doing it is a success in itself. And I don't plan to stop. I enjoy this. Sometimes I'm a little run down and sometimes I'm a little, life and stuff, but at the core, it's what I look forward to on a Thursday. And honestly, it's a nice break from my constant go. Like Thursdays, my wife knows I have the podcast. I know I have the podcast. I get off the podcast at 6:00 at night, and then I relax and I see my family, and it's sort of my evening to, I don't have it to make an excuse to stream my own stream for long hours. It's just, it's good. It's good for me. So, it's successful. Would I have liked to have seen it be bigger? Absolutely. I mean, I'd be a liar if I didn't say, I wish more people would come. But I get to host the stream over, and more people are tuning in, every week. And people on my stream are, get excited on Thursdays. They know it's podcast day. So can't really complain. I think there are things that we could have done, and there's things that we could do now to give ourselves a better chance. I think we've got our hands tied because I don't think gaming news in general is it is big enough for us to really grow at our current medium, the way we do it. Because gaming news, if we're talking about something that happened 3 days ago, that's old news. In order, I think, for something gaming related to really pop off, you have to be on top of it. You got to have a Twitter feed that is putting out the news as it's happening, getting those impressions, making those quick videos, getting that stuff out. But that's not what we do. So, we're in an industry where people want to know, like, most of the news that people hear that we give, they already know. They've already heard it. And then the ones that haven't heard it genuinely don't really care all that much. They're not, it's like, oh, I've heard it, okay, fine. But they're not like chomping at the bit to get the news because they've already
it's more about the opinion behind the news than anything.
Exactly.
And
but once again, you need to get the opinion out like right away.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Algorithm wise, like that's just the way the nature of the beast is,
Yeah.
If we did the gimmicky things with the thumbnails and the proper tags and the fucking the getting it up right away and the reactions to certain things, and we played that game, then yeah, we would grow. We really would. Because we got the personalities to do it, but that's another job. Like that
takes an enormous amount of fucking time.
That's another job, man, and that's not what we're at in our careers. We're not, this isn't 2012. We're not hungry the way we used to be. And our hunger.
Well, we also have other jobs that are more profitable than that. That if you were to leave it, you would lose too much on one end for the chance of something maybe growing on the other. So it's a too high of a gamble at that point. Yeah. If there ever came a time where there was a way to fluently get that stuff going, then maybe that's the thing. My idea, and I haven't even run this past Jeff, but it's episode 200, so we're just fucking on the fly anyway, is that the podcast this podcast specifically might turn into more of whatever Jeff and I sit down, we want to talk about other shit, anything at all, really, and then but name it something else. It'll still be released on the same RSS feeds that we have, but call it something else. Technical beta, and have a second and do like stuff that is more specific to both Jeff and I's taste. Because right now, when we first started this, we had 3 of us. There were enough opinions about all of the stuff we talked about that news was a sensible thing to do. But then when it was just Jeff and I, Jeff isn't as deep into games, and I'm not as deep into movies, and so we're in this weird fucking like no man's land of basically just regurgitating news with only occasional opinions, because it's hard to have an opinion when you're not into whatever it is that you're talking about. So a technical beta in the future might be a thing, and then I might take technical alpha and attach it to critical hit as a thing where I get daily news out for gaming that's specific and crank that shit out, and then funnel people, if I can, into technical beta. Because if I'm putting shit up on YouTube and I'm doing the tag stuff and I'm doing reactions to news immediately, like Jeff is saying, and which is easy for one person to do, harder to get 2 people together.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just we're not. We don't live together, and
you can't do that shit. That's why anyone you see doing that is a single person, right?
Yeah.
You can take a fucking phone. And just like record your and just slam that button and you're fucking off to the races.
Yeah, that's a one-man show, right? So, and it's something I'm not interested in.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if somebody told me like, "Hey Jeff, like, you're gonna triple your revenue for the podcast, but all you need to do is dedicate 10 hours or 15 hours a week to this news." I just be like, nah, I'm just not.
Yeah,
that ain't it. I'm just not. If this was like a UFC podcast or something that I'm on top of and I'm like super passionate about, then it's different. But it would feel like a chore. Like Adam is all about the reviews and the games and the news. He likes that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mind that stuff. It's not like I hate it, but it's not something that I'm on top of. Like when Adam comes with the news, Adam's the guy that does all of the groundwork for this shit. Like I literally show up, I host and show up, and then that's the show. Adam takes care of everything. So, you know, when he comes up with the titles or the topics, I'm learning the news as he's saying it because I don't follow. Like there's the odd thing I'll see on Twitter where I'm like, yeah, I did see that. But it's you guys are I'm literally reacting to the news because I haven't heard 90% of it because I just don't follow it. I just don't have time, you know, and I don't want to make time. So
there's a preview of what could be to come is and I don't know if I want to actually call it technical beta, but you never know. Maybe open beta or some shit. We'll come up with something. But it would have to be separate, and it would be a different thing, and we'd come up with a new form. I mean, the format would just be Jeff and I talking, but whatever the fuck. And then whatever that podcast would be generalist.
I mean, the reality is the vast majority of the people that are watching on YouTube, iTunes, wherever here,
yeah,
they showed up to watch us talk about whatever.
Exactly.
They didn't show up to hear what we thought about Bobby Kotick. You know what I mean? Unless we're making some dick or poop jokes in the process. Like, that's ultimately what made us successful in the first place is literally throwing on a StarCraft match and whatever the fuck we talked about, it didn't matter as long as we just shot the shit, right? And so, you know, I don't think the viewership changes at all.
No
matter what we talk about. If you ask, we did a poll, people probably enjoy this segment more than any of the other podcasts. They probably skip the first half and go right into movie/tech support.
Yeah.
That's probably a chunk of people. Not everybody, but a chunk of people.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a preview of what is likely to come in the future. But there you go. That was a long-winded roundabout, but we got there. Logan says, this is pretty hardcore. I'm on top of a glacier right now for work. Congrats on the internet access on top of a glacier.
That's
by the way. What is one extreme adventure either of you would like to do?
I mean, I would like to skydive at some point because I'm kind of afraid of heights. And also I think it would be really, really exhilarating. But I'm also super, super like I would have to go with a group of friends.
You would need the peer pressure to get out the plane.
Yeah, like exactly. Like I'd go there and I'd be shitting my pants the whole time. But I know that once I was in the sky and I was looking down, I would just jump. I would just say, listen, you've done it. Let's just go. It would be hard to get me in the plane. But as soon as we took off, I'd be like, okay, that's it. I'm doing this. And I'm not the type of guy that would stand there on the edge. I'd probably want to go first and just go. I just want to get it done. Go.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to stand there and be like, okay, just give me a second, guys. I'll do it. I'll be the guy that's just going, fuck it. Let's go. But I would like to do that one day. Skydive.
I'd like to visit like an active volcano. I think would be kind of fun. Like peer over the fucking, look at like see all that shit would be kind of neat. Have the bottom of your shoes melt a little bit on the way back down. I think that'd be would be kind of cool. I'm definitely not jumping at any planes anytime soon. I can tell you that much. For no other reason than like I feel like with certain extreme activities, your fate is still in your own hands. I feel like jumping out of a plane, your fate is basically up to did they pack the chute correctly?
Yeah.
Which I would have a hard time.
Well, I mean, you get a 50-50 shot, right?
Yeah. It either works or it doesn't.
That's it. If it doesn't work, well, usually if it doesn't work, then there's like an emergency backup where you can manually, put it out, or somebody in the air can grab you, and then you can go down and hopefully their chute worked. But yeah.
Time Tricks, congrats on the 200. Any thoughts or plans on what you're going to do when things are fully reopened that you can't do right now? Vacation, in-person shopping, going to the movies, etc.
Vegas.
Oh, that's your.
Vegas, man. That will be the first thing I do when I feel comfortable enough that we've all got our vaccines and you know the world isn't as on fire. Would love to do that.
As soon as we can, Em and I are going back home to the Philippines, of course, to visit her family and spend some time traveling around there. Lots of island hopping and resort stuff there. Of course, being a citizen there, she's got all the inside tidbits, all the places we can go for pretty cheap that are pretty ballin', little places and islands that only a handful of people would show up to and stuff like that. So that will be fun. The heat's gonna suck some serious dick, but everything else will be fun. So that's one of them. I just want to go and eat sushi in the restaurant again, bro. I want to sit down and have my tempura not be soggy. And just,
I did that like 3 or 4 months ago when like we had it was like maybe it was like 3 months ago, 2 or 3 months ago
when we had
when there was
no
like
cases.
there was like literally no cases, and I said, "Fuck this, man! I'm going to the restaurant and eating sushi," and I did that.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Was it? What, did you go to?
No, I went to
or somewhere else.
No, I went to place in Bears Lake there. It's like a new all you can eat a restaurant that opened up there.
Oh, yeah.
Mizu or Misa or something. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went there. It was good. It was good. And it just felt nice to like sit down and just like be served and food and sit and like watch movies or watch YouTube videos on my phone and just kind of zone out. It was nice.
Yeah, so that's definitely up there. Is obviously restaurant eating for sure.
Yeah. Outside of that, I want to go out with my family. I want to. I like my son is 2 years and going on 4 months.
He's basically lived in the house.
Lived in the house or the playground or outside in the yard in the street or whatever. I haven't taken my family out to dinner. I haven't gone to Toys R Us with Kai. I haven't. I legitimately, the only times I've ever left the house as a family in the car and went somewhere was like when we visited family, like during a holiday, or we went out for a walk at the park one day, and outside of that, I haven't done any of it. I just want to get some experiences in before my son's like fucking 10.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's weird. It's weird as fuck. Like I did not envision this as a dad, where I'm like, what the fuck? We went to that's the biggest thing that we've done as a family is we went to the wave pool, like, and that was before coronavirus. So my son was
fuck.
like,
oh yeah, he was like
1.
Yeah, he was a baby.
Yeah, he wasn't even 1 yet. I don't even think. He was like maybe 10 months. We went to the wave pool and floated around. That was it.
Fuck. Yeah, and just seeing family in general, really.
Yeah.
Hug my grandmother, because I haven't got a chance to do that in a hot minute. See my aunt and uncle and, my cousins down, whatever, as much family stuff as possible, because we haven't been able to hang out or see each other really for a long time. So all that kind of stuff for sure, all on the short list. Going to a theater, I don't give a fuck. I mean, yeah, I'll go to a theater and see my big bombastic movies again when they come out, but it's not like I'm sitting here literally dying to go to a theater.
I'm not either. Like, and I thought I would be. I'm like a huge movie goer. I'm like the guy that like would go every week by myself,
Yeah.
But now that I've just been watching movies at home, and I've just, the movie theater experience in general is usually pretty shitty. Just from the people around and stuff. Like, I will definitely still go and see. I'm sure when everything opens again, I get back into the mood, I'll probably enjoy it again. But I've realized I don't really need to go to the movie theater. I can watch movies at home and enjoy them just as much, if not more. Just because I'm not dealing with Joe Blow that's kicking my chair or talking. And I'm also not spending a small fortune at the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That is one thing that I can say that Rona helped. I spend far less money on virtually everything.
Yeah.
We spend a little bit more on groceries because we do like the ordering thing, and then we just go pick it up through the drive-through, and we don't go in the grocery theater or the grocery theater, the grocery store.
Yeah.
So like we order it on our phone, and then we drive up to the drive-through. You call it in, and they just put it in your trunk and you leave. So we've been doing that for a year and a half. Or my mom would go to Costco and grab stuff for us. And then, drop it off at the door. So I'll be looking forward to going into places and just being normal. But the good thing is I saved so much money because I used to eat so much more takeout, and I used to go to the movie theater. Like I'd say at least $200 a month in the movie theater was my budget. I pretty much spent $200. And then like sushi, like I'd eat sushi once or twice a week. Like now, we don't eat out as much, so we're saving money.
That's true. There's a lot of money being saved.
$300 or $400 a month just in like miscellaneous spending.
Oh yeah.
You go out, right? You go to Tim Hortons. You go grab this. Like now, I just don't really go out.
Like
so
nothing. And that's a habit I'm going to try and keep a little bit. Is don't constantly be going out. Because man, when you start to see how much money you save, it's a lot of money. You just don't think about that shit, right?
Yeah.
Volkus asks, Lag TV memory lane question. What's a funny or memorable moment that caused Adam to leave the room during a cast or a live stream? Congrats on the 200. Man, I mean, I did that same. I've my joke, and this is one of them. I only have 3 jokes, and leaving the room is all 4 of them. That was like my go-to fucking meme back in the day, was if something particularly stupid happened or whatever the fuck, Jeff was screaming like a girl and I left the room. That was basically what we did. And it worked. Everyone thought it was hilarious. I don't know why, but everyone thought it was fucking everyone thought it was hilarious. So, I mean, yeah, I still do the walkout meme. Like I still do that now. Like on my stream, it still happens. But like as far as the StarCraft shit goes, I don't even know if I can think of like a specific one off the top of my head, to be honest with you. The problem is I think the people that watch their shit remember more shit than we do.
Yeah. I mean, my stuff was like, Honey Anus and
the epic music shit,
epic music, and the noises, the fucking up the names. That was my thing.
Yeah.
And then like on my stream, like the chainmail and the auto tune singing and stuff.
Fucking gimmicks.
Yeah, that's one good thing about the DMCA shit on Twitch is like I got to stop doing those
gimmicks
things, and I was so over them. Like I had done them so much. I know that people loved it. Like I just I would do them now. I'd have to delete the VOD, but it'd have to be something special where I just pull it out and say, fuck it, I'm going to do all this stuff and I'll just delete the VOD. Although there's still tons of people that just play music on Twitch and nothing happens, but it's like, why
take the risk?
Yeah. It's just like, it's not even worth it. Right.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could remember like a really specific one. I can think of, I think in my mind, I can remember the first time I ever did the walkout thing. And it was before we were on camera. It was when Jeff was still at his original apartment, and it was either a recording for When Cheese Fails or something like that very early on. And Jeff's doors were really easy to slam in that apartment. So the only way you could tell I walked out, basically, was something stupid would happen. Whatever this was, something stupid happened. I wish I remember the cast, but I remember that we had just eaten the fucking from the deli that was down the road from your apartment. We had eaten sandwiches. We stopped in there, got sandwiches or whatever the fuck.
It was a good deli.
Yeah, it was a solid deli. So we had the sandwiches or whatever. So I can still remember that. And then, but whatever cast it was, and then you were laughing, but you were like almost crying laughing, whatever the fuck happened. And I was just done, and I got up and I did the walkout and I slammed the door so they could hear it on the microphone. And then you said and you vocally said that I left the room. And that was like the first one that I ever did was before we even had cameras on. and you just hear the door slam on the fucking audio or whatever, and that was me leaving the room. And it got to a point where, full disclosure, I just get up and I just open and close the door, and I was still in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam would give me cues. You know, he'd do the
finger.
Give me a sec. You know, and we would just know it. You know, we would just know.
You just do it. You just fucking open and close the door because there was no camera, right? It's just like nobody was gonna fucking know. You guys got fucking fleeced more than a few times.
Oh, many times. Many times.
Many times, just getting fucking fleeced. But yeah, there you go. Thank you for the question, Volkus. Let's see here. G-Bros, you made it to the 200. Congrats, guys. Hey, Jeff, this week's question goes to you. What would it take to make a full OTT album? I mean, you're almost on the way there now if you put a compilation together. The songs have been quite entertaining, to say the least. Looking forward to what comes next for Lag TV. So, how many of these songs do you got at this point?
Man. I mean, I have an album's worth. I mean, I really do.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22, really, one of them's not really much of a song, so I would say 21. 21, that's an album. That's an album. And it's all for free. You can download, actually, not all of it. The last few songs aren't up there because I let that shit sit up on other stuff first. But you can go to creampiecreations.com and you can download all of the vast majority, like 18 songs or something, for free.
That's a 2 CD set, Mr. Black.
That's it.
Well, Alexilo, we already answered that, but would you try bungee jumping or jumping from a plane? Evidently, Jeff would jump from a plane. I would do neither.
I mean, I would like to think I would. You know,
it might be different when the time comes.
Yes, I mean, I'm not sure. I'd have to be with the right group of people, and I'd have to be peer pressure to do it a little bit, in the right way, and then I would do it. Yeah.
Stephen Hopkins asks, 200 episodes. I've watched Lag TV for a decade now, you poor fucking bastard. I've watched Lag TV for a decade now, and I've never understood why you aren't bigger than you are. My question is, if you had blown up back in the day, how different do you think things would be now? I'm talking if you hit like 1 million subs back in the day, and we're now at 5 to 6 million subs now. Would you both be in LA getting $500 haircuts plus tips?
No, I would not.
Does it look like my haircut costs $500?
Yeah, no.
5.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I've been hearing that shit my whole career. I've been hearing that. I mean, it's a compliment. But at the same time, it's just like I don't really have the answer, because I busted my ass. I think I worked just as hard as the hardest workers in the video game showbiz, and I truly mean that. Yeah. I really don't, and I'm not even blowing smoke up my own ass.
I think you work. I think now, like currently in the last couple of years, you might be working harder now than you did even during Lag TV years, even when we were early on and working as long as we were.
Yeah, I mean, I streamed just the last 30 days, like 256 hours, and that's just on my channel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer, because I think part of it was timing. We were right place at right time, but also it was the wrong time.
It was the wrong YouTube wave.
Yeah, it was the wrong wave. It was, and then, it just missed little tiny. It's one of those things where at certain points in my personal career and Lag TV career, where if only we would have stepped left instead of right, I think things would have been different. It's not that I don't think our content or my solo content is good enough to be mainstream, like big, because I still hear that today. It's like, dude, why isn't your stream bigger? Like blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I do know some of it, but I don't, there's not much more I can do. But yeah, no, it was, and then at the same time, it's just like, I got no room to complain because, I'm doing perfectly fine. Yeah, I would have liked to have been one of the big dogs, but that's not for everybody, and that's fine. The YouTube side of things, we made our mistakes when we did, and at the same time, like, things happen for a reason, and ultimately we were still successful because we're still here and we're still doing it. We made enough money to pay our bills and some, and we're still going. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate the compliment, and I agree. I think Leg TV deserved better. Um, and I know partly why we didn't get there from some of the mistakes we made, but at the same time, like, even with the mistakes that we made, I still feel like we never got our due. And I don't know, maybe that's just, and I still feel like that even with my own personal career. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have to be that way to stay hungry, I guess, and keep grinding, going, not get complacent. But yeah, I feel like I feel like our content, I'm just gonna say it, man. I just feel like our content was better than a lot of our competitors that were doing better than us. I just felt it. And yeah, I have a biased opinion because I was in it and I was putting in the work, and I'm not undermining what other people did. But I just thought our shit, when it was on all cylinders, when it was a firing on all cylinders, I just don't know who did it better, man. In our genre, I just don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
I agree. Within our genre for sure back then, you could extend that from StarCraft into the co-op short form Let's Play stuff we did as well. I would agree. I don't think anyone did it better than we did.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like, you think about it. You look at Blizzard. Yeah, like Blizzard, the other tournaments and shit. Like, we should have just been more. We should have got more respect for what we were doing when we were doing it. And it's like the fans championed us, but there's this cloud, this like elitist weird fuckery, this gatekeeping that happened. And I don't know why it happened. I don't know what we did to hurt somebody's fucking feelings, or why we were overlooked. But, a lot of the fucking StarCraft content out there at the time, it was dog shit, dude. I'm just saying it. And, yeah, there were the goats. There was like the Day 9, the Total Biscuits, the Artos Tasteless. Like, those are the goats, but there was a lot of fucking garbage out there too that got put on, and we didn't get put on for whatever reason. And I don't know.
I mean, I suspect a lot of that was that because anything that was going to be championing the brand of StarCraft was meant to have the game be taken seriously, and there was nothing about us that was fit that narrative that Blizzard was going for. For the people that they hired out of the pool of people that we were peers with at the time, like Kalaris and stuff, who was doing very serious professional level casting on his smaller channel at the time, and went on to be one of the bigger casters that that ever did it for Blizzard. That was I think where the difference was that the narrative they wanted around StarCraft content was that it was to be taken seriously, and that it was the greatest game ever made, and it was the greatest esport ever crafted, and doing jokey stuff and having dick jokes and humor and making light of like the average player, and how, the most players aren't good, they're terrible. And that's okay, and it's okay to make fun of it and have fun with it. That wasn't what they were going for, so despite the fact that our video numbers outpaced a lot of everyone else's, like anywhere from 100 to 300,000 views a video, which in 2011 is like the equivalent of having like 4 or 5 million fucking views today.
Yeah.
It
was big, bro. It was that When She's Fail series was big, and the only one, and even those were beating Husky and HD numbers, and they had subscribers that were 7-8 times ours, and they sort of had an in with that inner circle that we didn't have. They averaged better on their regular stuff, but like our show was the show. And it's funny because Blizzard, I just find it ironic that when StarCraft started dying out, the content that was championed over the professional stuff was our type of content, was the base trades, the home story cup, the in control type commentary, the color commentary stuff, the winter StarCraft type shit. That was what we did. And it wasn't until basically the professional boring side of shit died out where they realized they needed guys and gals like us to keep the game relevant and keep it going today. And now the vast majority of content that StarCraft that is popular in StarCraft is literally color commentary, is the joking and the not so professional stuff. So it's just, it is what it is. And the reality is, guys, we were in StarCraft. That's the problem. I mean, even if we were the biggest things in StarCraft, which at a point we kind of were, but if we stayed that way, we still had a ceiling. We weren't the game grumps. We weren't going around and jumping on these different games. We didn't jump into League of Legends and the games that, the industry was new, and there wasn't a lot of options. So, we stuck with what we had, and we just didn't know that what we had was Adam and I was the juice. Yeah. It wasn't StarCraft. It helped us.
Which is why we tried to spin out of that with the Let's Play stuff, the Live TV Versus series, which has some of the more funny stuff. Unfortunately, that was the stuff that a lot of which we lost to the YouTube fucking plague. But, that stuff was all better than the vast majority of the Let's Play stuff between a couple of people. Like, the Game Grumps did a great job, don't get me wrong, but I would also say that we were as good, minimum, in most of our best content of that genre. And the guys, when we were with Machinima, one of the few things that did positively come out of that was that they did think that we should be as big as Game Grumps, and there was an attempt made there to possibly try and bridge the gap. It just never happened. Machinima was kind of on the downturn when we showed up on the scene, and of course there was all the other contractual bullshit that happened at Machinima with us as well. But yeah, for me, one of the things for as much as I think our content was amazing and we outworked most people, and somebody asked in chat, I'll cover this first. Somebody asked in chat, do you think it would have been different if you guys moved out to like LA where everyone else was and mingled with people out in LA? I don't think it would have made a damn difference, to be honest with you. I just would have had higher food bills and higher rent.
No.
I don't think it would have done a damn thing. If we were going to get recognition, it would have happened regardless. I don't think that would have happened at all. And the reason why you're seeing people move to like Texas and all this other shit, Texas is the new LA. It's cheaper. There's no fucking income tax, basically. And since you don't have to leave your house to do this job, it's the perfect fucking environment. That's why you're seeing people like XQC and shit move to Texas.
Well, that's just, it's also a streaming hub. So like a lot of streamers that go there, they live together.
Yeah, they're in the same place.
Yeah, they network, and that's how they grow their business, right? Adam's a homebody, and I also just like home as well. I could have moved, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's whatever.
I really don't think it would have made any difference in the fucking arc of Lag TV whatsoever.
I don't think so.
Because we never once, like in an industry where people were reaching out and doing collaborative work, we never once did anyone come to us. We always went to them. Nobody was interested in working for whatever reason. Maybe our content was just not it, and that's something I have to like come to terms with now. Like in my part of the career, in our solo ventures, is that the content that I produce is not what's popular. Period. And I've come to terms with that. I know I can carve out a little corner for myself and do kind of well with it, but I'm never going to be, fucking enormous with any of the content that I do. I could produce the best fucking video game reviews on earth, and it's not gonna fucking move the needle. There are a handful of people on YouTube that have any success with that, and my reviews for most of these are better written, better delivered, and better edited by Mark than most of those. But it's not what people are looking for.
Not exactly. That's the thing. It's not about who's better.
It's not what people are looking for, right? So and with my stream, the content I do on my stream, it's not what people are looking for. People aren't looking for Let's Plays. They're looking for right now hot tubs, RP, and fucking I say hot tubs tongue in cheek, but RP, IRL, RP, and professional level or like high level competitive game playing that are in that normally spin out of people that are already part of a professional team, or they sort of got into professional play but didn't quite they weren't quite good enough, but they had enough of a personality to spin out onto Twitch. That's like that's a holy trinity of Twitch. I do not look good in a bikini, despite what some people might think, and how long my legs are. It's not going to work. So I don't look good in a bikini. I am fucking so bad at competitive games. It's just not it. I've never been better than above average at competitive games, so that's not it. And the thing is that I enjoy talking about games, playing through Let's Plays, discussing that kind of shit, just taking a relaxed meme look at stuff. When I play Hearthstone, I'm not playing to climb the ladder, or I'm not playing like meta to climb the ladder. I'm seeing what stupid shit can I do, and then how far can I go with the stupid shit. That's not what people want. People want you to sweat the fuck out of everything and like grind the shit and be the highest so that they can say that they watch somebody that's like, oh my god, have you seen how good insert person is? That's it. So, you have to also, with that, I'll spit it back to Lag TV. I think some of it was also our shit just wasn't what people were looking for. As good as our content was, sometimes it's not about how good the content is. It's whether or not the vast majority of people that are looking for things to watch are interested in that content. And we were not.
We didn't play the game. We didn't play the game, man. When Minecraft was super hot, we need to jump right on it immediately. That was it.
I don't even know if we realized that it was super hot when it got super hot immediately, because we got into Minecraft about halfway through its hype, and it's not like Minecraft's dead right now.
No, but it had a resurgence. But I mean, when we got into it, it was already established. It was hard to be found. But yeah, no, it is what it is, dude. We did StarCraft. I'm grateful because without the game, we wouldn't be here today. So it is what it is. I wish things were a little. I shouldn't say I wish, but I wouldn't have complained if things were a little bit different. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason. Who knows? Listen, man, we might have blew up in Minecraft. We might have blew up in a fucking in a different game, and then that game could have died, and then we might not even be here today. We might have had it like a really, really good 3 years, 4 years, and then boom, gone. So who knows, right?
You never fucking know.
Who knows?
You never know. But no $500 haircuts.
No,
that ain't it. 8910 asks, we've answered this before, but we'll answer it because it's episode 200. Who would you have as your top pick as a guest on an episode of Technical Alpha, Mr. Black?
Top guest? That's a good question. Joe Rogan.
Elk meat.
Geez, I don't know. I would fucks with some Day 9, man.
Yeah.
Something that's just realistic.
Yeah.
That we have something in common. We reminisce, pick his brain. I'd fucks with Day 9.
Yeah.
I would fucks with Day 9.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was actually coincidentally, I was going to say we go and find we dig HD out of a hole and we have HD StarCraft.
That would be a really good one too.
Like, what in the fuck have you done for 10 years?
Yeah, that'd be a really good
Where
one.
have you been, Mr. HD StarCraft? That would be entertaining, for sure. I think would be good. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I'm sure we've got like a laundry list of people that would be unrealistic, but those are relatively realistic. Last question. Neil Pring asks, do you think that the pandemic has changed how streaming works and how it will work in the future?
I don't think it's changed how it works. I think what it's changed is its popularity. I think people have now created a really deep-seated um, connection or an addiction or a habit, whichever one of those three. I mean, an addiction is an extreme. A habit is what people have now come to. Or maybe this is their new way to communicate and have a connection with chat or stream or whatever. Because we've been stuck in so much that just like naturally, we've had a lot more free time, and so you're spending more time hanging out on streams, watching streams, being part of new communities. And I don't think it's changed the way people stream. I think it's just changed people's habits around watching streams and people's habits to stream. I think we've all gone to an extreme. Streamers are it's just already extremely unhealthy to begin with, but now it's just like, I mean, fuck. It's if you're literally not streaming a minimum of 8 hours a day, like 6 days a week, you're having a hard time keeping up. Like you're
Yeah.
falling off slowly.
Yeah.
Unless you're a mega streamer that already has had that big, core. But yeah, I streaming hasn't changed. It's just the amount that we're consuming and doing it most certainly has, for sure.
Yeah, definitely consumption has changed pretty substantially in that regard. People have so much more time on their hands. They're looking for ways to like spend it without just binging Netflix all day. And yeah, like Jeff alluded to there at the end there, because of that, there also like a kind of a boost in people in the space. There's more people that have entered the space because they again have more time on their hands. And it's created a more competitive market, or accelerated a market that was already becoming more competitive in the first place. Content is kind of changing in general. Like if you're looking at what's becoming more and more popular now with younger and younger audiences, yeah, certainly the types of content I think that you're going to see are going to be changing it up a bit. Man, social media plays such a bigger role now in the life of a streamer than it did before.
Yeah.
And if you're not
social a lot more now, like I never did.
Yeah.
Now it's almost essential because everybody's fighting for that viewer. Everybody's fighting for that. And if you're not in people's faces, you're forgotten, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So like, the holy trinity being like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
I haven't done the TikTok shit, but
no, but I mean, like, and all it is, and you know what else I'm seeing now is that people are doing. It's basically just it's people who are playing like competitive, like it's like Warzone players or some shit, and then you'll see them put up a clip of them doing some like slightly mediocre shit, but then they're like getting hype about it, like that shit doesn't happen all the time, but whatever, they made a video, so they go and make a video and they put it up on Twitter, and then now I'm seeing people turning those posts into ads where they're paying money to Twitter to promote that video clip, be like, little song and dance, and so social media has definitely been, and that's a lot of because, like, like attention spans are just fucking like shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and so it's like you'll do bigger numbers on like posting your fucking clip on TikTok and Instagram and shit than you will, doing the actual live stream, and what does that even fucking mean for content going forward? I don't know. It's moved so fast, like the whole first wave, and I guess this would be called the end of the second wave of streaming and content creation that the millennials built up. The Zoomers are changing it at light speed. Like, the shit is fucking moving quick, and in a way that, in a direction that I don't know how to pivot to get to keep. To not to keep up, because I'm kind of over like the keep up kind of thing, because I can't do it. This is just like it just feels like too much. Turn your phone on, say 5 words, post it up, and hopefully it goes viral. Like I don't know what that is, what that it is anymore. What the fuck does that even mean to be a content creator at this point? Because everyone's just posting like 5-second, 10-second video clips and shit, and just kind of rotating it out, and it's like. There was burnout before, and that burnout just meant you were on the live stream doing your shit. But now it's like you're doing your live stream, and then you've got to like be a social media manager on the back end where you're constantly posting stuff every like fucking 4 hours.
Yeah.
And building up numbers on like at least 3 or 4 different sites. And
you need a manager. You pretty much need a manager, man. You need to pay somebody to do all this fucking shit, or you're gonna go crazy. Or you're gonna go crazy, or you just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I am looking forward to the day. To the day. Don't want it anytime soon, but the day will come where I just stop giving a fuck. Where I'm just like, you know what? I ain't worried about Twitter and Instagram and this and that and how many hours this and this and this sub count and this. I will look forward to the day.
Yeah.
And it will happen before I'm 40, because I no, I'm 34 now. I will be looking forward to the day where it's like, do I feel like streaming today?
But just what the fuck is a content creator right now?
Well, a content creator is at this point, or at least one that wants to be successful. You have no privacy. You're constantly on all the time. I don't know. I'm not even on this level of these new content creators. Like, I just like, they're just doing shit I don't even know. I think TikTok's cringe. You know, I know why people do it. I just think it's cringy as fuck. It's just, you're on all the fucking time, bro. All the time. There's no off. It's like, what are these content creators doing? Like, when they're not on, they're thinking about how to be on. Like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? What am I doing next? And I'm okay living in my little pocket on Twitch and grinding that out and having fun. I ain't doing what the cool kids are doing. And I'm sure they're super successful and they're making boatloads of money. It ain't for me. I'm getting old, bro. I ain't 22 anymore. I ain't got the energy. I just don't.
Man, even if I was 22, I don't know if I'd be fucking doing all this shit, because I don't even know. Like, I feel like content creators at this point, their life cycle is even shorter. It's like the shorter the content, the shorter the life cycle of the fucking content creator. So like TikTok is now, we're just like on fucking these 10-second videos, and people will do like a series. It's kind of like this comedian dude that did you see the guy who was like acting as an like IKEA employee, right?
Yeah, it's funny as fuck.
Fucking incredible, right? It's funny as shit. It's the lowest production quality you can imagine, with like the cutout background, whatever the fuck, and he's got his IKEA badge on, whatever, and that's it. And he's just holding his phone, and that's it. And he just gives his delivery, and he crushes the delivery. And it's smart written shit, but it's like fucking 15 seconds long. And, you know, this guy's is blown up, and he's got, you know, all these eyes on him right now.
A Netflix show soon, you know? Like, and
it's gonna last like fucking 3 months, and then he's gone. And that's it. If you were on like the first wave of content creation, you had a hope of going like 3 years. Now it's like, if you're gonna keep on top, it's how do you even do it? Because it's like what these kids want and what the majority want, it like changes every 5 fucking seconds, and you can't possibly, as a content creator, keep shifting in that way. So it's almost like you have to hope that whatever you do hit on is something that has staying power. Because if you don't, you're just power fuck. So I hats off to anyone crazy enough to be trying to grind it out as a new wave content creator these days, because holy shit, that is wild.
I mean, I thought I had it tough, man. Some of these guys and gals out here doing fucking God's work. I mean, they're just nonstop. I can't, man. I'm old and tired. I'm old and tired. I'm still doing too much, but I'm just, you know, I'm just riding the wave. I'm doing it because I got to, and I enjoy it. But like, I ain't enjoying it. I ain't enjoying it that much where I need to be on TikTok 24/7.
Dude, YouTube has shorts now.
Yeah, I know. Everything has
everything
shorts.
is shorts.
Shorts. Everything. There's short on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, that ain't it. That ain't it. I'll stick to some role play.
Fuck me.
Show.
That's it.
That's it.
That's the show, Mr. Black. It's the 200th episode of Technical Alpha, where we're just grinding it out here in front of how many people right now? 79?
It's a couple hundred, maybe.
Where are we at? I'm guessing 79 people.
188.
I was off by a bit. But thank you for continuing to show up and watch this every week. 12-second game reviews coming. Look, I've already got them 60 seconds. They're not getting shorter. Critical Hits Twitter and Instagram have 60-second fucking reviews, which are literally me giving you the tagline of the review and a plug for the YouTube channel. That is as short as you can get. It does not get shorter. So I'm already there. But yeah, we will be back next week for episode 201. I'm out of here for now. Mr. Black is out of here for now. And until we see you guys next week, thank you for all of this amazing and continued support, whether you're just showing up or you've been here for the long haul. And until then, peace.
Peace out.